know, I think I've had a good long break. Let's get back into the workshop, because I'm in the mood for shotguns. What's good, everybody? Valor here once again, and who doesn't like shotguns? Well, I like shotguns, so I was very excited whenever the folks at MonkeeMods reached out to me and wanted to send me one of these. This is the MonkeeMods variant of the Firefly shotgun by Colonel Wasp. MonkeeMods wanted to solve the supply chain issues, so they got their hands on the rights to produce their own version of the Colonel Wasp Firefly. Now, if you're not familiar, this is a 5+1, at least in this configuration with these barrels and magazine tube, shotgun-style blaster that uses custom Firefly shells that MonkeeMods is now molding in orange and offering for 50 cents a piece, which is not a bad price, with a section of Picatinny rail on top for your any sort of optics you want to use. A stock attachment. This is quite tight for a lot of N-Strike stocks. They do offer a custom one that's made for the Firefly that's quite short and everything, but, you know, it's a shotgun, you kind of want to keep it short. And if you want a little more utility, this stock by my friend Yahoo actually holds several shells. Right up front, one of the biggest differences you'll see with the MonkeeMods version of the Firefly is the vibrant orange coloration. Like, the shell is super saturated, as well as this much darker sort of anodized on the barrels. And speaking of the barrel, they do have the version of the barrel that is necked down for scar barrels and or, you know, hop-up units if you use, you know, 50 cal foam paintballs. The pump is largely the same, with the 3 holes on each side to mount a section of worker rail just for a little more grip or whatever. I personally think it's okay, especially if you have gloves, but I think I would want to model my own that is modeled more after like a Magpul style shotgun pump, just because I like the way that looks and it's very comfortable and has the ability to have, you know, M-lock on the bottom for like a hand strap. And one of the best things about this blaster is the fact that MonkeeMods is going to be offering all of the parts for this thing as their own, you know, separate items you can purchase. So say if something breaks or you want to, you know, make a different barrel assembly to put into this thing every once in a while for, like, say, a longer barrel or a longer magazine tube or whatever, you can actually do that, which is so great compared to the old Firefly, because a lot of people had issues with the bracket piece here actually cracking because it was just too snug on their magazine tube and barrel. The barrel had less issues because it uses a rubber gasket to seal to the whole system, but the magazine tube was always putting a lot of stress on this piece of plastic, and you could see a lot of people's Fireflies actually just completely cracked. They solved that by necking the back side of the magazine tube down a little bit so you can actually just glue it in, which in my assembly video I actually just used a little bit of go-to glue after sanding a little bit of the anodized back just to give it a little more tooth to grab onto the piece of plastic here. And if you want to watch that video and help support the channel, there is patreon.com. Anytime I have a blaster like this I need to assemble or whatever, I put the whole assembly up for patrons to watch, so, you know, you can get a idea of what to do and how I went about it, and any fixes I made. In terms of performance, they will offer a 12 kg spring, which is what the Firefly came with originally, which will get, you know, the kind of over 200 FPS. There's also going to be a 10 kg spring, which is what I have in here, which is supposed to get around 170-ish. And then they'll also offer a 5 kg spring, which will have around 120, 130, you know, HVZ sort of levels of performance. And it's so great to have all these options for springs, because it is a bit of an odd size. It's not quite long shot size springs, so finding a spring that'll work well for this was kind of difficult. You might have been able to get away with K25, but, you know, it's kind of hard to take this blaster apart with the fine threaded screws they included in the package. Like, that was my main complaint with the original one, is that the screws were really fine thread. They fixed the sort of stripping and snapping issue, as far as I can tell. The screws are still very fine thread, so a lot of the screws in here I actually replaced with my own, you know, coarse thread, just toy, like Nerf screws. The only ones I wasn't able to were the ones up on the top rail because I didn't have any short enough, which I could have snipped off, but, you know, it is what it is. And as far as I can tell, none of the screws have stripped out. The only ones that have actually kind of stripped out a little bit are my own screws, because they're kind of cheap, but whatever. But yes, this is very, very fun. It works well with the 50 cal foam paintballs, just like the other one, and darts, which is just great. You can, for scenario play, having the 50 cal foam paintballs is excellent. And from what they're telling me, MonkeeMods will have foam paintball, like the 50 cal foam paintball, available for sale in like packs of 100. No word on pricing just yet, but hey, it's something. It's a way to have them available, because Vulcan balls usually go out of stock so quickly. But yes, with that 10 kg, the Prime is very light. Not quite as light as the 5 kg, but, you know, I like a little bit of meat. And the performance is quite good. And those balls just ricochet everywhere. Now, doing a little bit of target shooting, I was actually doing quite well with no sort of optic or anything on this at all. In this footage, you're going to see me whizzing past the cans a lot, but I was getting pretty darn close to them every time. Which, you know, I think I was like at least 50, 60 feet away, if not more. I really should have found my surveyor's tape. But I was a fair distance away, you know, sort of I was more of the maximum sort of engagement distance of this blaster. And I was still hitting quite close to those cans. And with the foam paintballs, you really want to be up close, because those things just kind of go everywhere. I think the foam paintballs are really for engagements of about 30 to 50 feet. Like 50 being the very, very top end, because those balls will drop off just because they're so light. And without a hop-up tab, which I am actually working on, they don't go particularly far, but it's good for close-range engagements like HVZ, which, you know, will be really fun if your HVZ allows you to use shell-fed blasters, which not all HVZs allow that sort of thing, so you might want to check before you try to bring a Firefly to an HVZ match. Now, if you want one of these things, they are currently on pre-order. They've been on pre-order for a while. It's just taken me a little bit to get this video done, because I wanted to get some more abusive testing done on this blaster. The original ship date for these was Halloween, but with delays with a typhoon and stuff causing flooding and, you know, supply chain issues with shipping, they're going to be more mid-November. So it is what it is. But, you know, if they get their stuff in earlier, they'll just ship it out as soon as they get the stuff. It is not going to be like a Kickstarter thing where it's just, you know, it's going to be shipped out, you know, months later. It's shipping out very, very soon. Now, if you want one of these things, I'll put a link down below to MonkeeMods' website, where you can find this as well as all of the parts that they're going to be offering. They're also going to be offering a bunch of accessories for this in future. I suggested to them like a full top rail thing, like shroud, similar to some shotguns, as well as a magazine adapter for this, so you can run this more as a combat shotgun, which is wicked. If you made it this far into the video, thank you very much. Might you consider supporting me over on patreon.com. Starting at $1 a month, you can get access to the Patreon-only Discord server, where I upload files for your discretion for printing, as well as, you know, more direct access to me, see what I'm working on, as well as access to the Patreon-only assembly streams and videos whenever I upload them, and have something to put together something like this. Big thanks to the patrons that are scrolling on the screen right now. As ever, mine is Valor. Thanks for watching.